also known as Adam's Rib, and you are listening to Fridays Live at Midnight. So I came on a little bit early because I'm not going to stay on here long, but I do have a few things that I want to discuss. First of all, as I said before, Music Mondays are back. The Voice is back on. So I'm using their app and doing my teams and everything. But I have found this wonderful app under called Simply Piano. So, and the other one is Simply Singing. And I had them for a while and just hadn't been using them because, finding the time to practice on them. But since I have been doing both of them, I am in love with both of them. I highly, recommend both of them. They come recommended. I follow a couple of YouTubers that give piano lessons online, and so, they are really good for like basic piano skills, and different things that I'm getting out of both of them. So for me, like I said, one of the things that I am believing to do is to finish out my PhD, but go back and go back to study music therapy. Also, it operated music ministry. So I've been, looking up information on music's effect on the brain and the contribution that music makes to your mental health. And so, I've been doing that too. It's all true. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that on Monday. I also want to give myself a little more time to discuss the subjects that I have been discussing. So I was just looking on the news, and pray for our sisters in the Middle East. People don't understand, like, women, I'm not going to say women here got it good, because they don't. There's a lot of stuff going on in this country, all in the name of a lot of oppression toward women, all in the name of religious beliefs. And it's really a thing globally. And I talked about this before when I did 29 days of Black feminism and then did 31 days of global feminism out of my feminism series. And I talked about how certain things, like when you're talking about equal rights for women and you're talking about women's rights, the struggle is going to look different depending on what your culture is. Even between African American women and African women, I thought it was interesting that a couple of African feminists, decided to not go the feminism route. One decided to go womanism. Author Alice Walker, has been known to say that womanism and feminism, womanism is to feminism what lavender is to purple. Because they're really, one is a lighter shade of pale to the other one. And so we need to keep our sisters around the globe prayed up. And this, it's not an anti-male message, it's an anti-oppression and anti-sin message. An anti-sin and anti-patriarchy message. Women are being abused around the globe. And it was funny to me, one of the women, went and said, well, I'm not a feminist. I won't wear the title feminist, but I will be about the things that feminism is about. So that makes you a feminist. And it is very hard because many people, I can remember this as a born-again Christian. You become born again, and many people will say, well, you're not born again, you're still going to the movies. Or you're dressing a certain way, and that doesn't make you born again. And in all honesty, none of these things technically makes you born again. Just like having, doing certain things doesn't make you a feminist. You can be a feminist and still be a born again Christian. There may be some things that feminists have traditionally supported that you may not get down with. Just like, and I was meaning to do a podcast for you guys to talk about this. So some feminists do support sex work. Others don't. To be perfectly honest with you, traditionally feminists have never supported sex work or been anti-porn simply because of the oppression and how it affects women and the objectification of women. So we're against anything that sheds women in a negative light. So, I personally am not pro-sex worker, even though I am pro-sex workers getting saved. Like, they can get saved, they can get forgiven, they can change your life for the better. What you cannot do is be saved and continue to do sex work. The two don't match. Because at some point, if you're wanting to please God with your life, you're going to have to choose between God and that line of work. But Christianity is a very diverse relationship with God because people come from many different backgrounds to accept Christ. So, like I said, as women, pray for our sisters around the globe, because many of them are going through things. Pray when you see these Amber Alerts. Pray for these children. Wasn't it good? I don't know how many people prayed and intercede for the little girl that wound up missing, and they found her alive. And they found the guy who snatched her. Ain't God good? We need to pray. We need to pray and intercede. We also need to pray and intercede for the many Black and brown children that don't make headline news when they go missing. Anytime you see an Amber Alert, it's good to pray. Pray that wherever that child is, that they're not suffering harm. Pray that pray for God to intercede, send his angels to intercede on behalf of these little ones. Pray for, if somebody have them or there are, that whatever is going on when you see them missing, that it won't go any further than it has already. Pray for God to speak to the police and different other law enforcement that belong to him, that they'll hear his voice and be guided on being able to find these young people sooner. Pray for, like I said, pray for the people that are least. When you're praying for the ones that you know about, pray for the ones that aren't being, pray and intercede on behalf of the ones that aren't in the news. I follow a couple of YouTube accounts where they are doing true crime, but they're doing true crime in a way that they're bringing attention to, like I said, missing Black and brown girls, people that aren't readily, splashed all over the headlines. But that doesn't stop me from rejoicing when this little girl was found alive. It is a beautiful thing because we know it doesn't always work out that way. So I am, I'm going to the movies tomorrow night. I'm going to see the latest Exorcist movie, Wish Me Luck, because I can remember when I couldn't sit through the very first movie, and that movie, woof, child. She turned, that thing turns her every which way, but loose. So, being able to sit through the first one. So we're gonna see how well I do with the second one, but I still want to go see it. For one thing, actress Ella Burstyn is returning to the franchise. She was in the first one. She played Reagan's mother. If you're a fan of horror, then you know she played Reagan's mother in the very first one that was made in the 70s with Linda Blair. And I can't remember if she was in the second one or not. I remember seeing the second one, but I don't remember the exacts on it. But I don't think she was in the second one. I don't remember her being in the third because, they made a whole franchise. They made a whole franchise out of that one movie. And there's information up about it already. And plus, it's Halloween. So, but I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I may not post this one on my WordPress blog simply because it's only been 11 so minutes, and I'm not even going to try to waste nobody's time with that. But I will go live Monday and talk about some of the stuff that I'm talking about now in a little more depth. Continuing on with the whole spiritual abuse discussion because it needs to be had. And, as I said before, the complicated relationship between Black women and sex. I believe that Black women are under attack. I believe that women, period, are experiencing some serious warfare. Some of these male religious spirits are, something else. And it's like they're marshaling up against us. We have to watch. You have to watch teachings. The Word of God says specifically to believe not every spirit, but try the spirits to see if they be of God. So we really have to be careful. As born-again Christians, you have to be careful who you line up with. You have to pray about anything suspect. I thank you for new members. I'm not quitting anything that I'm doing right now. You have to also pray for the health of the saints. Pray for those that are being caught up in sexual sin. There's quite a few false teachings out there that are meant to deceive us back into sexual sin. So so be careful, what you're eating. Can't even, you can't eat everybody cooking. So be careful, who you listen to. Be careful of anything that is meant to lead you away from God. Look at, read the scriptures daily, study to show yourself approved so you don't get led astray. And I will talk to you guys this Monday. You have a good weekend. Enjoy your loved ones. Enjoy your significant others. Enjoy your grandbabies. And I will talk to you then.